Well, it's been 32 days now since I started that compost bin on the left. The material in there, last time I turned it, was looking pretty good. So I'm curious to see how everything is working out in there. I'm kind of anxious to use the material in there. So let's go check it out and see how everything's turning out. And let's see. Okay, so everything looks nice and dark. Looks like most everything is small material, which is good. Still a few little sticks here and there, but doesn't look to be too bad. Everything kind of just falls apart. There's still some recognizable material in here. A few twigs, about that size, nothing too bad. So let's empty it out and see how everything else underneath is going. And to remove the compost, it's a pretty easy process. I went ahead and bought myself a pitchfork and bought it for about $20. So inexpensive, and hopefully it'll last for quite a while and can be used for all kinds of different things. So it's a good tool to have. To remove the compost, it's a easy process. All I do is I remove these front slats here, toss them over to the side, and there we are. Doesn't look too bad. Everything is nice and dark. Things down here, everything just falls apart. So that's pretty good. All right, so let's continue on down. Okay, so I've dug down about 2 feet and emptied out quite a bit. And what's coming out of it? Well, it looks like compost to me. So I think I'm gonna go with it and start using it. And a little closer look. Well, everything looks pretty well broken down. It's nice and dark. And it looks like there's even a few earthworms in there, so there's life. Oh, there's another one. This one's pretty big. So, yeah, I think it's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and use it. So, there's those 2 compost bins. So that first one is ready. And let's see how this one is doing. Okay, so this is a much smaller compost bin, so I'm not expecting it to perform as well as this one has. Just the sheer volume in there will create a lot more heat and will create compost a lot faster, I think. At least that's the way I understand it, but who knows. So let's go ahead and see what's going on inside. Okay, so from out here it looks pretty good, and yeah, wow, it's gone down quite a bit. It used to be filled to the very top there, to the very edge, and now it's down at least a foot. So it's been cooking. So let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it still looks like some of it's been broken down, but still a few blades of grass in there. Not sure what it's going to look like down in the center. Not as well done as the other bin, that's for sure. Well, at least on the very top. A couple pieces of cardboard. Still fairly well broken down, but not enough. Let's see. Yeah, quite a few sticks in here. Some pieces of branches. So didn't perform as well. So this still needs about another month or so. And this should be ready. So lesson learned here is small compost bin, big compost bin wins. So now that I have some nice compost made, let's go use it. Okay, so I went ahead and added one wheelbarrow full of my freshly made compost to my raised beds. And as I dug down a little bit deeper, one thing I've noticed is there were so many earthworms running around in that compost, and all kinds of different insects, and it was just full of life. I also noticed it was a lot darker than any store-bought compost I've seen. And the other thing I noticed is there was a huge difference in moisture. It was a lot more damp, and it just seemed like it was a better product. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you really want good compost, truly you have to make it yourself. You know exactly what goes in it. You know exactly where it came from. I've used nothing but vegetable scraps, um, some vegetable matter I gather around from the yard, some wood chips, and it just looked a lot better. It looked like it was truly soil, and the things I've seen at the store just didn't have this kind of higher quality. Again, just the amount of worms that were in there was just amazing. I think I saw at least 100 of these worms just crawling around in there. So it's very much alive. It's very much what soil should be. Yeah. So the only thing left to do now is add a few more layers. As time goes on, I'm going to let most of the compost that's left just sit there and let it process a little bit longer, maybe a couple more weeks, and I'll add a little more to the garden beds as I go on. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way this turned out. And the last thing left to do is add some of this compost to my compost tea. So let's go do that. Yeah, it's going to throw the whole thing right in there. There we are. So compost full of life and full of microbes and a few insects in there, and it's just, I think it's going to do really well. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Well, before I lose the daylight, I went ahead and grabbed one more wheelbarrow full of compost, and I just keep being amazed. I went a little further down the compost bin, and the stuff down there was even better. I mean, it just looks like great stuff. It's just full of worms in here. Everything is got a nice consistency to it. Has a really nice amount of moisture, which I found with things that I purchased. It comes really dry, and I know that because it is dry, most of the microbes are either dormant or dead. So this stuff should have just loads of beneficial microbes for the plants and in the garden there. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Just absolutely really excited. So yeah, like I said before, the best compost really is gotta be the stuff you make yourself.